Hello, Internet. Oh, I didn't clap sync. We're going to clap sync.
That's fine.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Project Geek. I am one of your hosts, Josh Jones, and this is my good friend, Chris Glansman.
Hello.
And he is our other co-host.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is the first episode of Project Geek, but we did a podcast for our high school called GEEKcast. It was pretty alright.
It was okay.
We talked about, like, Nintendo Switch, Marvel movies, the likes, and that's what we're going to do here, probably just more often, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Maybe not, though, because of college.
Yeah.
But we'll figure that out. But we want to just seek to talk about all things geek culture.
Video games, movies, whatever. We'll see
Yeah.
what happens. We'll see how it goes.
Hopefully it's fun.
Hopefully
you guys like it. This first episode is about Spider-Man Far From Home, which just came out recently, and it's the movie that I am very much in love with. Chris Glansman, how do you feel?
I also like it. I don't think I like it quite as much as you do, but I do very much like it. It was a good movie.
We haven't talked too much about our feelings about it up until now, but hopefully we can get into it.
Hopefully.
So, for you guys to understand where we're coming from, I think we should talk about our feelings on Homecoming. So, and maybe how that relates to the entire Marvel experience. So, I'll start. Homecoming feels different from all the other Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has a lighter more grounded feel, almost like Ant-Man, but like even more grounded than Ant-Man, because it feels like it's just about Peter and his existence in that high school. Because like even the villain Vulture is just Liz's dad, which
he's more human than some of the other villains.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's actually a really well developed villain in comparison to everyone else. And I like the humor. I thought that was fun. I just like the characters. There was some good characters in there, especially his relationship with Tony Stark. I think that was what really moved the movie along, because you see the development of that father figure, even though they're not that close within that movie, and Peter is on his own for a lot of it. There is some good relationship building there. But yeah, I don't think that Tom Holland, that movie, ever reached the heights of the Peter Parker that I envisioned for a cinematic universe. Like, my favorite iteration of Spider-Man is probably from the recent PS4 game, which is Yuri Lowenthal, I think is how you say his name. I think that he captures, like, the perfect, like, humor for Peter and also, like, realism. But, like, you know, Tom Holland isn't as quippy as I would like him to be. But he is really good, and, you know, he's, fair match for Tobey Maguire, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. The thing I liked about Homecoming, similar to what you said, it's very human. It's more, you can connect better with them as characters, like most of the cast, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, you understand where they're coming from, you understand Vulture's motivations, and you can appreciate it, which I appreciate that they even carried over into Far From Home. Well, they carried a lot of things from Homecoming, like the ground feel and the connectivity of the characters and the villain into Far From Home.
Yeah. And so, now let's move on to Far From Home.
Yeah.
And I think that the big thing that this movie sets up, not as much plot-wise, but, like, setting-wise, is that he's on a big field trip with his school. Oh, also, I want to talk about, this isn't in our notes, but I want to talk about what's it called? The blip.
Oh, the blip.
Because that's weird.
That is weird.
And that's really funny. And I think it sets up from some good comedy pieces. But how do you feel about how the blip was treated in Far From Home?
It was kind of like, they I don't know exactly how to explain it. It was kind of like they were covering their tracks, backtracking with it. It was like 10 minutes, not even, and they're talking in the homeless shelter, I think, about it. The people who are displaced by the blip. And then they like in passing talk about the blip and the high school in the intro and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of, I don't think they covered it necessarily that well. I mean, they did explain it basically the way that you would expect it to be explained.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So
I heard a lot of people complaining about how it was treated, and that it was treated like a joke as opposed to this like horrible catastrophe. Because in real life, if half the population just disappeared, that would be nuts.
Yeah, and then the reappearing of it would be equally catastrophic.
Yeah, but the movie starts with, or does it start like after the scene with them in Mexico? it starts with what's that song, like I Will Remember You
I
Always.
Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston.
I Will Always Love You, and then like it plays all the people who died in the events of Infinity War and Endgame, and it's treated as a joke.
Yeah, it's because it's like it's done through the format of a high school daily announcements video that somebody made. So.
Yeah, I think that it was funny, and
Mm-hmm.
I know some people just like disagree and think that it was like that's disgusting. I mean, they don't actually think it's disgusting because it's just a movie.
Yeah.
But they think in terms of like for that world that would be inappropriate. But I think that was really funny for the movie, and I can dissociate those two.
Yeah.
Anyway, going back on to what we're going to talk about
the trip.
The movie is set on this big field trip across Europe, and I think that sets up like Peter's going into new terrains for his experience as a superhero.
Yeah.
Just like he is going through like different locations.
Yeah.
At least that's the
kind
metaphor
of be
that I
seen
made
as
up.
representative. I was about to say the same thing. the trip and the things that he has to do on this trip are kind of representative of his personal struggles, I guess.
I never really thought about it too much up until like just right now.
Same.
But I think it might have been nice if we were to get like more of a flavor of all of the places he went to.
Yeah.
Because like they kind of go and they have fun for a bit, but then it's like thrown to the side.
Yeah.
I think the place that we get the most information from is Venice. Where they have that really nice, funny montage of them just doing things, and the teachers like, you know, he puts his camera up and he's like trying to take a picture of it, and he's like leaning back, and then it falls, and then like there's MJ with all the birds flying on her, and like them going across in the boat and whatnot. But I feel like that was a very like light, and they just kind of skimmed over it, and like maybe the trip wasn't even necessary for the movie, but
I think it was just kind of the trip was just a way to kind of push Peter across Europe to make him do what Fury wanted, I guess. Because Fury was looking for these specific things to happen, and then he kind of forced the trip. Yeah. I mean, he didn't force the trip itself, but he forced it the way it to go.
And I'm stealing this from Black Nerd Comedy, who I love, by the way. He referenced that the trip is kind of like in the old like 90s sitcoms when like the family would go on a big trip to some random place, like when Full House goes to Disneyland. And it did kind of give me those vibes. It's like we're throwing everyone out of their normal habitat and they're going to make them experience something new. And that was fun.
I agree.
Yeah. But the main point of the movie was definitely trying to develop whether or not Spider-Man would become the next Iron Man. And we see that in the homeless shelter, like you were talking about, whenever Peter like comes out to like, get pictures and like take questions, and everyone's like, so like now that Iron Man's gone, are you gonna step up? How are you gonna step up? Like, are you gonna be good enough to be the next Iron Man? And he freaks out and he like flies off. I mean, not flies off. He swings off. He swings off and he like finds his like perch on some rooftop, and he looks off to the side and there's a mural of Iron Man. And even in like one of his scenes prior, like when he was in the classroom talking to Ned about the trip, there's like a wall of a bunch of just like kids drawing of Iron Man, and I think that was an important storyline to tell for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They
had to address, like after seeing Tony in Endgame and like Iron Man 3 and all these other movies address his own mental health and the kind of things that he had done or failed to do and what he was dealing with, they had to do justice to that in continuing with someone so important to him in his life that kind of is a representation of him, kind of a mirror of what he wanted to be, I guess.
Definitely, and I think that Tony Stark in these movies is the father figure for Peter Parker, and it's almost like his Uncle Ben moment. Like I know some people are upset that Uncle Ben like isn't given more respect in the Spider-Man movies, but Tony Stark is the Uncle Ben, and I like that dynamic between the two. I feel like Peter should like look up to this man a lot, like with all their experiences together, even if they weren't that like we didn't see too much within the movies. I feel like there's a lot of like subtext of them having a deeper relationship.
Speaking of him being Uncle Ben, it's like Uncle Ben after Uncle Ben, because I didn't realize, not that I didn't know exactly, but I didn't realize until this movie when you see him with Ben's suitcase. The suitcase he takes is Ben's suitcase, which I didn't not that I didn't realize it exactly, but it was kind of interesting to see that just like a brief pullback when he hasn't really been mentioned that much.
It hasn't been addressed in any of these movies. I think it's been mentioned maybe once. I think there might have been like one like light reference to an uncle, but like nothing besides that. Anyway, I think it's shown in the giving of Edith that Tony trusts Peter to become the next Iron Man.
Yeah, he entrusted with him to give him the tools he needs to do what he has to do, to step up and be the hero that I guess that he needs to be, or that he believes that he can be.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious, like, what do you like? I think you kind of said it there, but like, what do you think it means to be the next Iron Man? Because I don't think Iron Man was ever the leader of the Avengers. I think that was very much Captain America, but in my opinion, I think Iron Man was the soul of the team.
I think it's the whole thing is that Peter was picked by Tony because Tony saw himself in Peter.
Yeah,
Peter is willing to kind of give himself to the cause to better the world, I guess. He's willing to sacrifice himself and do what it takes, just like Tony did in the end.
And I really love the scene. And so I'm sorry, before I get to the scene in the jet, you see Nick Fury constantly berating Peter for not wanting to like step up and always like trying to put like high school first, or like his relationship with MJ first. And I think this finally hits on something that was lacking from Homecoming, a feeling of consequence and like having to like make sacrifices. Yeah. It kind of came towards the end when he abandons Liz at the homecoming dance. But like this is like grander, and like the entire time Peter's like, I don't want to do this. I want to live my own life. I want to be me. Yeah. I don't want to have to live in this person's shadow. And I feel like there was a nice compromise in the jet whenever he like breaks down with Happy and he's like, I just don't know what to do. And Happy basically tells him like no one can be Iron Man, but Tony, like, he trusts you to be you and to be good and to make your own out of this role.
And he regretted so many things about his life, but choosing you was the one thing that he has never regretted. And so I thought that was good.
But I do have a little bit of gripes with this moment, even though I really loved it. So later on he goes, and so they're like, okay, we gotta go save everyone in London from the Elemental, from Mysterio attacking, basically. And when Peter goes and he's building a suit again, Happy plays what is it? Back in Black?
Yeah,
by AC/DC, which I really thought was by Led Zeppelin. I'm sorry, but that I feel like that kind of contradicts everything that they built up until then. Because I feel like him making his suit behind that song kind of just shows that he is Iron Man, even though the movie is telling us that he's not Iron Man, he's Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think that. I see what you're saying, but I feel like that scene to show where you see clear parallels to him being Iron Man, to being the next Iron Man. But I think that entire thing serves as to show the similarities between him and Iron Man, I guess.
Do you think it's just similarities as opposed to like direct copies of each other?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I mean,
it does seem sense. I do see what you're saying. I do.
Do you feel satisfied by the end of that story though?
I don't know.
Because oddly enough, even with my frustration with that, I feel very satisfied.
Yeah,
and I feel
like it.
Peter has come to terms with who he is as a hero, and that makes me happy.
I think you're right.
And I think it's a nice. Sure. I think it ties that. I feel like I'm good with Iron Man now. I don't have to talk about him anymore. Even though he was my favorite part of these movies. Yeah. I feel like that Endgame was a good ending for him, and this was a nice epilogue.
Yes.
If that makes any sense.
That does make sense. I agree.
And so we briefly mentioned him, but Mysterio, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, is an immense force in this movie, and I love him.
He's very good.
But I'll let you blab first if you have anything.
As we were saying about Homecoming, he's a very understandable human character. You don't know them until later, but you understand his motivations. You see why he does it, while you may not agree, well, many people, I suppose, wouldn't agree with what he did
Yeah.
and how he went about doing what he did, you understand why he's so frustrated
Definitely.
with Iron Man specifically.
No, that scene in, like, I guess the bar.
Yeah.
When, like, all of, like, the holograms from Barf started to come down, I was like, whoa, what? Like, I knew that Mysterio was going to be the villain.
Yeah.
Because Mysterio is stereotypically the villain of Spider-Man stories. But, like, I didn't know how it was going to happen or why. And the fact that everything was a lie.
Yeah.
That he doesn't even have these powers, that blew my mind.
That was very well done.
And this kind of feels like the mind trip they did with you in Iron Man 3 with the Mandarin, where like the Mandarin like was never like the force that we were thought he was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But I feel like this time this is Marvel doing it right. Because even though Mysterio didn't have the powers that like he was chalked up to have, or like we thought that he had, in a way he did.
Yeah.
Like because he created illusions not through magic but through technology, which even though there is magic in this universe, feels very appropriate for the MCU in my opinion.
Right.
But more than that, I think that Jake Gyllenhaal did a really good job performing this character. What's his name again? I forget. Do you remember?
He's Quentin
Beck. Thank you. It's Quentin Beck. And I think Quentin is... He, like, for a while, he does reflect a very good father figure to Peter.
He does.
And I think that's a nice... It's not even a contrast. I guess it's just, like not even a parallel, but it feels like a nice succession to that story.
Yeah.
Of Peter trying to find someone who is, like, good, who can lead him on a good path. But then... And, he's believable, and I like him. He's a likable character at first. Even, like, his tiny joke with, like, I am Mysterio, and he, like, makes the funny face at the camera. But I really liked how he developed his character, and that just made me even more, like, angry or surprised. Like, it helped the feelings whenever he turned.
And betrayed everybody.
And I loved the guy from Iron Man 1.
I love all the callbacks to all these characters that you don't necessarily you see, but you don't. I don't know exactly. You see them and you see what they're going through, but you don't think of them as like important players or characters until you see them coming together, kind of to work with Mysterio and fight this.
And apparently, like, you can see like some of these people like in the background of scenes. That's what I was reading on Reddit, and some people were like, I saw this guy in the background of the sea, and I was like, what? Like, I missed this, and I never would have thought to look for it. And now, next time I watch it, I want to watch it again. I watched it 2 times. I don't know if I told you this. But I thought that was really cool. And this was a good use of the villain exposition, in my opinion. A lot of times, there's like the hero gets beat down, and then the villain spews out like why he's coming up with this diabolical plan to like destroy all the universe. But now it's like just a bunch of like bros like being proud of their Kickstarter project, you know? Like that's what it felt like. And it was like, and you did a good job, you know, like figuring out like what we need to do, and you did a good job like building everything. Like, you know, congrats, man.
It's not like a villain beats up on the hero and then explains and then gets beat up right back.
Yeah.
It's the villain wins. And then explains among them. They explain amongst themselves how they did it. And then we understand how they did it.
Yeah.
And then the hero understands what happened and has to go back and try and fix what they had helped to do.
It was a really nice moment, like, while Mysterio or Quentin is given his exposition, he, like, there's talking, and then it cuts to Peter walking back to the hotel, and he's smiling, and he's all happy. But, like, little does he know, he, like, just screwed up massively.
Big time.
And I just thought that was a nice juxtaposition for those two things. And Mysterio presents himself as an even greater force. It's interesting what happens like towards the end of the movie when you see like all of the curtains are pulled down.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, sorry. I will talk about the illusion scene, but I'll get there next. No, I'm not to miss that. But like the very final battle, you just see him like pacing around in the hallway talking. You're like, oh, now I understand how all this is happening. And like, I was impressed. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it was. I agree. It was very well done, showing it was showing what was happening as the city's being destroyed, and you see the fight that most people are seeing, and then you see how he's executing it, how he's making it look real, what he's doing to kind of make it work at the same time, and what he has to do to keep everything oiled and kind of.
Yeah. I think my favorite part of the movie was whenever Peter and MJ realize that something is happening. Like when Peter finally realizes that he screwed up by giving Edith to Quentin. Excuse me. And he goes off to find Fury. I forget where he goes, but he goes off to find Fury, and little did he know.
Mr. Berlin.
Berlin, thank you. And like he goes into like the SHIELD headquarters, at least what he thinks is the SHIELD headquarters, and it's really just Quentin like trying to like trick him into revealing who else knows about the plan, and it's like this beautiful like illusion, and like I love the image of Mysterio taking off his helmet, and it's Peter in a snow globe of New York, and like that's like like I've seen these scenes in like my video games and TV shows, and it was exactly what I wanted, but I didn't know that I wanted that.
You don't know you want it until you get it.
Yeah, and it didn't trick me, and it doesn't trick us as the audience, but like it's understandable why Peter would be tricked by this, because he's seeing like at some point like Quentin
looks realistic.
is choking MJ, and that's terrifying. There's a lot of callbacks to like what he wants, like whenever Quentin has MJ, it's on the Eiffel Tower. It's like, you wanted to kiss this girl on the Eiffel Tower, but like now you like you're messing up everything.
And then with the end of that scene, with how he gets Peter in the end, he is like talking to him. No, he's not, because it's like Fury shoots him. You see Fury shoot him in the back, and then Fury comes up and is like, "Who else did you tell? They're in danger." And then it turns out that entire part was an illusion too.
Yeah.
And Mysterio just backed him into a train.
Exactly. And they did the movie does such a good job of like switching you in and out of the illusion, or at least making you think when you switch in and out of the illusion. Because whenever Fury shoots Quentin, it like that tone feels significantly different from.
It does.
How
the illusion?
It's because like I think it's because of the lightings and like just like camera positioning, and like all that was very believable and well done, in my opinion.
I agree.
And then that even like challenges Peter later on with his Peter tingle when he encounters Quentin in the hallway, which one of my gripes is the Peter tingle. I don't think that I think it's really funny, and like that's just a Spidey sense.
Yeah,
but it's not addressed well enough in this movie. I don't believe.
I agree. It's like, hey, Peter tingle, it's broken at the beginning, and then hey, Peter tingle, figure it out.
Yeah,
and then he just, hey, I figured out how to work the Peter tingle.
Exactly, but like throughout the movie, there was never this development of I didn't know how to use it. It was just, oh, you don't know how to use it? Sucks, because you got hit by a banana. And Hack brings it up again, like, oh yeah, it's broken. He's like, yeah, I guess it's broken. And then he figures out how to use it all of a sudden.
Spontaneously.
Where like this should have been, like, I feel like that could have been like the leap of faith moment that was in Spider-Verse.
Yes.
And I think like that could have easily been connected to Iron Man, like, because once he decided that he could be his own hero and not be like feel pressured to be someone else, once he finally like self-discovery, once he finally discovered himself there, then he was able to use his powers correctly.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing in Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire, where he doesn't have his webs anymore because he's so conflicted about what he wants to do with his life. And then right when he needs it, like when he truly needs it and fully understands everything in his life, is when he jumps for it, he gets what he needs.
We should write these movies.
We should.
I think we're so good. Anyway, one of my other favorite moments was when he's in that hallway and like the music cuts out and everything is just silent. And then he closes his eyes like, whew, Peter tingle. And he runs down the hallway and it's just like gunfire and he's like slamming down the drones.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool.
It was very good.
And then even the moment when you think Mysterio is done and he's like trying to hand Peter the glasses, I believe that. I was like, oh, we won. Good work, team.
That was easier than I thought it was gonna be.
And then a gunshot goes off. I'm like, what? Wait, what just happened? And Peter was like already a step ahead of us. And he catches Quentin Beck's hand. He's like, nah, I won today. You didn't. But then comes the question: he dies right after.
Yeah.
I don't know how he dies.
He got shot. That was the gunshot. He got shot.
How did he get shot though?
Didn't wasn't it Hill? Maria Hill?
No.
Or was it not?
No.
How did it happen then?
I have no idea.
He died of. Didn't he die of a bloodshot?
I have no idea. I'm confused.
I'm confused too.
So what happens is, basically he's masking himself from Peter so he doesn't see him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he pops up, so like, if you're Peter and I'm Mysterio, he pops up like this. Peter then catches his hand, throws it off this way, and then he dies.
But he either gets, I don't remember exactly, he either gets stabbed by glass, like broken glass.
How did he get stabbed by glass?
I don't remember.
Alright, and so now comes theory time. What if Mysterio actually isn't dead? And what if he's still under control of Edith? Because, so to give Edith away, Peter had to say, like, I relinquish control to Quentin Beck, and he gives it, right? Control was never given back to Peter. So what if Quentin is still controlling Edith and programmed it so that Edith would say that there were no more illusions happening, even though there still was an illusion happening?
That's possible. I don't know about that. I think it's a little much, a little far. It's possible that he's still alive.
Is it far from home?
Yes, it is.
I don't know. I think this is like very believable.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's still alive. I don't know that there's still illusions going on. He could still be.
But how would he be dead?
I don't remember. I think he gets shot. I'm almost sure that he gets shot.
I watched the movie 2 times, Chris. I feel like I'm right.
Almost sure that he gets shot.
I don't know how it happened then. You tell me.
He has to get shot. If you said a gunshot goes off, he gets shot. He has to be.
A gunshot goes off that he shot at Peter.
But we don't know that.
Yes, he does.
How do you know? Does it?
You see it.
You?
So, in the moment, like Peter is like so I think Quentin is like over here and Peter is over here in the shot, and then it cuts again. So Quentin's over here and Peter's here, and then you see a gunshot behind Peter's face as he moves his hand up to stop it.
I don't know. I still think I feel. I don't remember. It's very frustrating, actually, to not remember. It's fine. Well, it's fine. It's okay. It's not bothering me at all.
And then moving on to maybe not my favorite part of this movie, but a part that I found extremely relatable.
Yeah.
This whole love thing with him and MJ.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I think Tom Holland and Zendaya have amazing chemistry. I think they're wonderful together. Before I gab, go ahead. I'll let you give your feelings.
That's fine. I don't.
Are you not in love with them? Are you not in love with them?
No.
Wow.
I think it's nice that they do it. I don't. Thank you. I appreciate that. No, I don't necessarily see. They're kind of weird. You know.
You think so?
I think it's kind of weird.
Why do you think it's weird?
Like, I see why they did it. Why they have MJ. And why they have, because that's how it generally goes. But I don't know. I just feel like it's weird. I don't know why. I don't know how to explain it.
So my issue with it is there's no build up to the relationship, and there's no continual like conversations showing. Oh yeah, they should be together. So because what happens is Peter's talking to Ned about his plan, and then he sees a little nervous around her. He's like okay, and then they talk about Bo together in Venice, and then they talk like after, I think like right before the opera, I guess. Yeah. And then they talk after the opera, like after he gives Edith away.
And after, yeah.
And of course I'm missing something. There is never any more. There's never a moment besides when they talk about Bo right before the first elemental attacks. That they are like building up their relationship together. Everything that, like every time they have a conversation, it's like building another layer onto the relationship, and it's to some extent, it's not unbelievable because I can believe it because there's like a whole year of like relationship building, but we were never able to witness that, and I didn't need to witness that. I would just like more evidence of it.
I agree. That makes sense.
Anyway, they have such amazing chemistry together, and they're so cute, and it's just like every element of how they talk felt like an actual high school
Yeah.
couple talking.
that.
But like there was this one YouTuber, his name was High Top Films. I don't know if you watch his content. I really like it, but he has opinions about the new Spider-Man movies that I disagree with, and I think that he was the one who said that he didn't feel like their relationship was believable, and it just felt like old people writing how they think high schoolers act. But I think he's so off base. I think that's exactly how high schoolers act.
I've seen so many high school relationships that look almost exactly like that you know that's true. Well, I mean, I feel like it's like, if anything, it's like earlier high school. Because when you're like junior, senior, it's a little bit different.
That's how I acted senior year.
Well, okay. I never mind.
No.
Go ahead.
They just and I feel like they did a really good job developing how, like, because the part that threw me off about MJ was just like how weird she was.
Yeah.
But this movie explains why she's so weird. The movie tells you like, hey, I'm weird because I'm trying to like I'm vulnerable. I'm trying to like, or I'm trying to not be vulnerable. I'm trying to hide all my insecurities by like making these weird statements. And that's what she does in one moment when they're walking. I forget exactly what she says, but like when they're walking outside the hotel, she makes some.
She's like, there were lots of people who were executed on this bridge.
Exactly, but like that's just her way of, you know, hiding a little bit from Peter because she doesn't want to be totally vulnerable.
Like her thing with the Eiffel Tower. She's like, I heard it was built as a mind control device to control the insane. That's why it's what I'm most excited about on this trip.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. I liked how they talked, and they just like always seemed to be like really happy to be.
Yeah.
I think they're just good friends in real life, and so that naturally helped with good chemistry.
Yeah.
And like even just their like really awkward kiss at the very end of the movie, like that was like prime like first kiss awkward high school moments.
Yeah. Well, they did 2 of those weird ones in a row before they did a more theatrical Hollywood.
And that's just like, in my opinion, very realistic and relatable.
Right, I see it.
Yeah. But what wins the even hotter couple award is Happy and Aunt May. I was so weirded out about that the entire time.
I'm in love with Spider-Man's aunt.
That was so. I love that.
They're all just like, "What are you talking about, you lunatic?"
Yeah. We forgot to mention, or I forgot to mention, MJ figuring out who Peter, like
Peter Spider-Man. Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I think that's very. I'm surprised that no one else has figured it out. It's very obvious.
I think
He's
so.
like, hey, I'm not going on the trip.
Sorry, that's like shining a light on my head as we're shining it there for a bit.
He's like, hey, I'm not in Homecoming. He's like, hey, I'm not going on the trip for the I don't remember what it was.
Their nerd thing.
Their nerd thing. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I didn't know the name. And he's like, wait, never mind. I'm gonna go on the nerd thing. And then he disappears, and then Spider-Man saves him.
Randomly pops up.
And then he just leaves all the time.
You're right. Everyone should.
And everyone should know. And then never mind.
No one can figure it out.
And then she figures it out. I'm like, oh, cool. Totally didn't see that one coming. Yeah. Glad someone figured it out at some point. And then actually, yes, I'm Spider-Man. We gotta go.
Yeah. Okay. So now that we are talking about Peter Parker's identity, of course, do you have any reasons why we shouldn't move on? I think that we talk about the post-credit scenes. First, before we get there, like leading up to that moment, him swinging around New York, even before MJ, like that was this kind of swinging that I really wanted.
Yeah.
In this movie, in this universe, we don't really get to see too much, but I thought it was really good.
It was good.
And it was fun to see him texting and stuff like that. And it took me back to the moment on the PS4, when he has that conversation with MJ when they're like talking about whether or not they should continue.
Yeah, where they're having their relationship troubles. That was.
Yeah,
that's true.
And then even when he swings MJ at the very end, I thought that was really funny.
It was funny.
But then, the big thing happens.
The big thing indeed.
J.K. Simmons comes back as J. Jonah Jameson, which I got spoiled for myself.
Oh. That's unfortunate.
I was scrolling through IMDb like the day before,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw that he was listed. I was like, oh, whoops, I shouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
But we moved on.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Quentin Beck, he fakes some video, or someone on his team, if he actually is dead, I don't know how all this works, but he fakes a video making it sound like Peter Parker or Spider-Man was trying to kill everyone with the drones.
Yep.
And then he reveals his secret identity.
That was very frustrating to me.
Was it?
Yeah, it's a 16-year-old boy. He took. Why? That's such a real. That's such an that's so rude. It's like, hey, I'm a bad person. I don't want to die a bad person, or make it look like I died a bad person. So I'm going to screw over this poor kid who's 16. He's in high school. And then they took the most innocent picture of him.
That was funny.
Yeah,
that was a funny picture. That was like totally just like a school a yearbook photo.
Yeah, but I think I saw somebody talk about how it was the photo for the superhero registration thing, or from Civil War or whatever.
Oh, is it styled after that?
I don't know.
Is that what you mean?
That's what I saw.
Because you wouldn't have been. I don't know what you're talking about. Because he wouldn't have been listed in the Sokovia Accords. I was what you mean Civil War, like as in like the comics.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. I just saw something about that in passing.
So what you were talking made me think he has nothing to gain from this at all, unless he's alive. And then he would gain something from it. But I think the more important story to talk about is how this is going to affect the rest of the MCU. Do you think it will?
Not outside of him, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Because people might go to the Avengers because he's like 16.
Mm-hmm.
They might go to try and they might get in trouble for that because he's a minor.
Who might get in trouble?
I don't know. The Avengers, the people that he works with.
Oh, you think that the Avengers are going to
get in trouble
get pissed
because he's a minor?
Or people are going to get upset with the Avengers? Oh, because they have a minor.
This minor to do stuff for the endangerment, child endangerment. Basically. Interesting. But I doubt that's gonna happen.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
But overall, it's mostly gonna affect him. It's gonna be hard. I think he only has one movie left in his contract though.
He's totally gonna get signed up for more though.
He definitely could.
He's gonna, because I think he's gonna have at least one more Spider-Man movie and then a handful more Avengers movies. But so what I'm concerned that they're not gonna use this at all. I feel like it's gonna be let's say that he has an Avengers movie before Spider-Man 3. It's gonna be lightly mentioned in Avengers, right? Then Spider-Man 3 is gonna happen. I think that this goes a couple ways. Either it becomes the entire plot of the next movie, which would be fun and acceptable. Yeah. Because I think Peter's identity has a lot to do with his characters, his character, because that endangers everyone else he knows, and that that could lead to some good drama and tension. Yeah. Maybe even some humor. But what I really think is going to happen is that it's going to be solved in the first 5 minutes with a joke. Mm-hmm.
They're gonna write it off. They're gonna try and save it.
I think it's gonna be retconned very quickly, and that concerns me because then what was the point of even? Yeah. But I guess it has to. I don't know. I don't really see how it goes. Oh, I was talking to someone. It wasn't you. But someone, it was one, I know who it was. It was AJ. AJ was talking about how, sorry, honestly, you don't know who AJ is. Maybe he'll come on one day. Maybe. He might enjoy that. You never know. Anyway, AJ was talking to me about how he likes the parallels between him and Iron Man in that way. Mm-hmm. Because Iron Man reveals his identity at the end of Iron Man 1, but that's his choice. Yes. Now, Peter's identity is revealed at the end of his movie, but that's not his choice. And so that's them kind of going along the same path, but in different directions. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know. That could be an interesting parallel.
They're probably gonna make something. We'll see. They're probably gonna make a joke with Flash, who's like, "I just have so much respect for Spider-Man." Oh. And then "What's up?" Whatever. I just remember there was a rude insult. I don't remember exactly what it was.
And then anything else on that scene? Nope. And then there was the other post-credit scene, which really just threw me for a loop.
It did. That was weird.
With the scrolls. Mm-hmm. makes me wonder how involved the real Nick Fury was and everything. So Murray Hill and Nick Fury were being impersonated by the Skrulls. I think it was like Talos who was in
Talos from Captain
Marvel.
Marvel, and his wife presumably also from Captain Marvel.
Not gonna lie, I like totally tuned out of the end of that movie, so I have no idea what happened.
I think Talos and his wife were impersonating Fury in Hell.
Got you. So it makes me wonder how involved the real Nick Fury was in everything. Like was he the one at Iron Man's party? Or not party, his funeral? Very opposite things I just said there.
I feel like Fury was... That's my concern. I don't know how long Fury's been gone.
Exactly.
I think it's a lead up to Captain Marvel 2, if I were to guess, which may or may not.
I don't like Captain Marvel.
I don't either, but that's
love women. Don't like Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Gotta just say that for...
Yeah. Yeah, that's my thing. Besides the point. But I don't know how long he's been gone. He has obviously been communicating. He told the Skrulls to give Edith to Peter.
Mm-hmm.
He made sure they had that message. But he's been in space for a while, clearly, because they all know who he is. All the Skrulls on the ship know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a big thing. There's a lot of ships out there.
A lot of stuff going on.
He's like relaxing on the beach in the sim thing.
Mm-hmm.
And his people are like stealing his shoes, so that means they're comfortable with him. It's probably the kids are comfortable with him.
That's funny. I didn't.
So I mean, he's been there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Do you will that moment have any important impact on the MCU?
No.
You don't think so?
Absolutely not.
I don't think so either.
It's just a tease for
Captain Marvel
2. Yay.
Hey, they could make a good Captain Marvel.
They
movie.
could.
They could.
They could.
I just didn't like this last one.
The first one was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't excellent. Besides the point.
All right. So now,
I have my thing.
Go ahead.
Kind of a sad note, somewhat related to the post credits.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice it until like right after, when I was like looking back. The things that you notice as you're watching the movies, as you go through them, you know where I'm going with this now?
I feel like I might.
You do. Where you notice as you're watching, but you don't notice until the end that it wasn't there.
Yeah.
The saddest part of this whole movie, this was the first released Marvel Cinematic Universe movie without a cameo from Stan Lee.
It's so sad.
That's very sad to me.
I
just realized this yesterday, 2 days ago.
I think I realized it, but I didn't put any thought into
Mm-hmm.
it. I cried when I heard that Stan Lee died in class,
Mm-hmm.
which was embarrassing.
I know.
And it's weird because I don't have this really deep relationship with Stan Lee because I didn't read all his comics.
Yeah.
I just feel his impact on my childhood and everything because I've been watching these movies since Iron Man 1 came out.
Yeah.
And so this has been, what is it now, 11 years of my life that he has had a direct influence on the content that I consumed, and I really felt his loss. And man, you really brought me down. That's so sad.
I told you I couldn't tell you what it was because it would bring down the whole thing. So I had to put it towards the end. The post credits.
No, I love all of his cameos. He's so funny.
Mm-hmm. I saw a great theory actually that made me very happy. Mm-hmm. That he was a very important character. Because in one movie,
I was talking about.
He's in space and he's talking to people and he's...
Ooh, what are they called?
I don't remember.
They're the big head people. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But he's an informant for this ultra-powerful celestial group who kind of overlooks everything. And he's supposed to be someone who... He's credited, in the credits of that movie. I don't remember what movie.
They're not Celestials. That's something else.
No, it's... I don't remember exactly. The Watchers or something.
Yes, wait. I think it is The Watchers. That sounds right. I don't know. We can totally wrong.
But he's credited as being an informant for them in the movie. And they are, very powerful. And if he's an informant for them, then all of his cameos could be him being this informant and collecting information and being just this normal, cool, really important guy, actually. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really cool. I don't know that it's been confirmed, but it definitely has been deconfirmed.
Do you want to know what I think?
What?
I think that was not what they were doing.
I don't think it either.
I don't think that was at all what they were going for.
But,
I think it was just
we can believe. We can dream.
We can dream.
And as long as it's not deconfirmed, it's true.
True. And he has been various ages throughout, or the same age more or less, throughout all these movies.
Yeah, that's true.
So I guess that, that could add to your theory, because he was, like, in Endgame, he was in the past, not in the
past, that's true.
not in the present, and he looks, just as old
and
as
he's been doing deep cover, because the funniest thing in Captain Marvel, his cameo is him rehearsing on the train, rehearsing for a role that he actually did in the year that the movie came out, the year the movie is set, which I think is funny.
Yeah.
So he's just a cool guy.
He is a very cool guy. Stanley will be missed.
Yep. I thought I'd throw that in there.
Thank you for throwing that in, even though you really just messed me up.
Sorry. We're almost done. Just like a couple
All right.
left.
So now we're on cleanup patrol.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna talk about everything we missed in our previous discussions, and we're gonna talk about the feelings of the movie. Tonally, very similar to Homecoming. Very different from Avengers and all those other movies. Everyone who I spoke to after watching this movie described it as fun.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, oh, I don't like that term, because when someone says it's fun, it always feels like it's just okay. That's not good. But it was a lot of fun going through. Like, there's a lot of stuff happened. There's a lot of humor. And
a lot of cool stuff to see that happens.
Really cool. And that reaches into the action, which is the other thing I want to talk about. But, anything else on tone?
The movie, it's, coming directly off of Endgame, super serious, super dark, death, bringing people back, very serious.
Yeah.
Very heavy movie. And then you have not Homecoming, yikes. Far From Home, which is, it's got some deep parts, it's got deep running plot lines, but it's more of an uplifting build up, everybody feels good, it's a good movie. It's more fun, more entertaining.
Definitely. It was the nice refresher that we needed after Endgame. It didn't keep up it didn't feel as tonally off, I can't think of a better word, than Ant-Man and the Wasp did. After Infinity War ended, everyone just appeared whoa, that left us on a note. Then Ant-Man and the Wasp comes here, it's yeah, let's make some jokes, guys, crazy adventure, but it's really small.
Yeah, but the whole thing about that one is technically that takes place before and right at or during the events of Infinity War.
I mean, but all I'm saying is that if you're watching these movies chronologically, in order of release, if you watch Infinity War, which leaves you on this really somber note, and then directly go to Ant-Man and the Wasp, there's this real strong disconnect between the two, which is fine.
Yeah.
I mind it because I watched the movies as they came out, not back to back to back.
Yeah.
It was just in hindsight, thinking about that, it was kind of off. But I really liked how Spider-Man feels in comparison to Endgame.
Because it was kind of a close, it was sad and somber, but it was a close.
This is technically the end of Phase 3, right?
That was the end.
Was it? Are you sure? Are you
it was
positive?
the end of the Infinity Saga.
Okay, I want to make sure, because I heard people saying that this was the end of Phase 3.
This is the start of Phase 4.
Okay.
I think.
If this was the end of Phase 3, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be mad, is all my point is.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. It was I feel like it's better, if it's better as the beginning of Phase 4, going from the clean close to the new open.
You are right there.
Because if they end on an open in Phase 3, I don't know how I feel about it.
You are right, because this dips into something that we talked about in our Endgame podcast. Go to radandright.com.
Your Radcast section.
Yeah, you'll find us there.
We're at the very bottom.
Are we?
Well, it's the fourth one we did, and there's there's the other one in there as well.
Oh yeah.
The other person who did a podcast at the same time as us.
Not nearly as good as
Not
ours.
nearly as good as ours.
Yeah.
With a much less catchy name.
Definitely.
Don't. If you're watching, don't be mad.
He's never gonna watch our videos. Wait, what was I talking about?
Listening to the Endgame podcast.
Oh, yes. Avengers Endgame has such a beautiful ending, and I really liked it. And I could have stopped watching these movies at that one, and I would have been like, okay, that was fine. We had a good run. That was enough. I don't need any more. Yeah.
It was a good ending point. I agree.
Right. And then action-wise, this movie was leagues better than Homecoming.
Oh yeah, so much.
Was there even any fighting in Homecoming? So there was a fight in the bank.
There was
in the end.
The brief
right?
fight at the bank. There was the brief scuffles earlier when he goes looking for the bad guys.
Look at the boat.
No.
He has
in the truck, under the bridge, like because he gets shot at by the.
Oh yes. But he also does have a fight on the boat, very briefly.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm just talking about. Oh, I guess there were like a good amount.
There were a couple, but they weren't like. They weren't far from home fights.
Nothing stuck with
Nothing.
you.
No.
In this movie, Peter's like finally able to like use all of his powers, just do like Spider-Man nonsense everywhere. Like,
he's figured it out.
Yeah, and he's like swinging around like crazy and using all of his webs to his best abilities. Like I love like even the scene where he's not fighting, like with the first elemental, he's basically just doing damage control.
Yeah.
That's a reference for the Marvel folks at home. He's just like he's stopping buildings from falling, and that's cool to me.
Yeah.
And I really like that. And I even laughed at whenever he was swinging and he like banged his head on the bell 2 times.
Twice.
Like a dunce.
Like a dingus.
In the fight with the fire elemental.
Fire elemental was good.
Was real cool. And like he's using his like webs to like catapult rocks everywhere.
He sends rocks in and then Mysterio pushes him in.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, somewhat related to that.
Yeah.
If that wasn't real, then what happened?
Exactly. There you go.
If that wasn't real, then what happened to the rocks that Peter threw in? And how did they... I don't understand. Never mind. Just forget that I even brought that up. That messed me up.
Oh, so what you could say is the drones were programmed to shoot at it and to blow it up as it hit.
Yeah, but it stuck for a second.
Oh,
and then
Mysterio
pushed it in. He blasted it into the thing's chest, into the fire elemental's chest.
No, I don't know then.
So I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Cool. That's a problem.
Now, see, like there are a couple of issues here with everything Mysterio, in my opinion.
Yeah.
However, I think it's totally worth it for everything else they do.
The fights were super cool.
Yeah, they were really cool, and like I just like love like there's a part in when he's like climbing up the wall. When they're fighting the fire elemental.
Night monkey.
And his knife. And he's climbing up the wall, and he like hops over, and like that was just cool to me. Like that's just like Spider-Man nonsense I need to see on a daily basis, just to get me going.
It doesn't all need to be fighting. It can just be cool moves that he does, as he does.
Yeah. Oh, another like action scene was with Brad when he sends the drone to kill Brad. That was I thought
you were going for the other action scene.
What other action scene?
Where Brad, it looks like Peter's getting some action, and Brad walks in.
Yeah. Actually, I really like this Brad thing too, because we didn't mention this during the MJ subject, but like, I don't know if you can relate, but I can relate to a Brad, where you're like
as being a Brad, or as having a Brad.
As having a Brad, you're like, oh, does this other guy, is he my competition here? Like, do I have to look out for him? And like that, like I thought that was relatable, and like the nice and the cute moment where like Peter and MJ trying to figure out what was happening at the opera, and they're like, oh, do you want to like sit together?
Yeah.
Even though Brad had already asked to sit together, there's like the nice like, oh my gosh, I'm like so screwed because like this other guy is gonna get her or whatever, and it's like, oh, actually maybe I'm the hero of you know what I mean? Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
Yeah, that's all we got, I think.
I love the movie. I think it's so good.
It was good.
I watched it 2 times.
I watched Endgame twice.
Yeah. So the reason why I watched Spider-Man 2 times was because the first time we went to go watch it.
Yeah.
Did I tell you this already? I guess the movie just stopped. Like at some we were watching the trailers and the ads, and at some point it just like went black, and we're like, oh, what happened? And we kind of just sat there for like 10 minutes and like. No movie, no trailer, no nothing. And a guy came in and was like, okay, since like technical difficulties, we'll give everyone a free pass.
Oh, so you didn't actually see the movie twice?
And I did.
Did you?
Yeah, the movie worked.
Oh.
That first time.
Okay.
And then...
You went with the free pass seat.
I went with it.
Got it.
And I actually watched it in 3D. That was a mistake on my part.
Yeah.
But...
Not a big 3D guy.
It was actually...
Glasses.
It was actually pretty good. Like I could get with the 3D. Like it felt it felt kind of like 3D, like where it's just like where it's just like like feels like there's one layer and another layer. It wasn't like a full like rounded feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other statements?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for enduring this 54-minute long podcast from us. I'm Josh Jones.
I'm Chris Klansman.
Thank you for tuning into ProjectGEEKcast. What do we call it again?
I don't know.
We'll figure it out. And this is us logging out.